Taurus, this is your March 2022 soul story. If you have a sun rising or your moon is in the sign, this is a general reading. This is Romy, welcome to my channel. Thanks so much for tuning in. So we're going to give you some astrological dates and intuitive messages to help you navigate your way through the next few weeks. We're opening up with the energy of the Ace of Swords. And this is a time where, even though the energy of March is very non-linear, you are going to be asked to step up and start making some very active choices that are rooted in a sense of deep truth for yourself. There's an awareness, of course, that what's unfolding is so much bigger than us, but at the same time, everything begins with us. And that personal truth that you have is really creating this sense of a spirit fire. You feel motivated towards something. And in a way, what you're honing and crafting and learning how to do more than ever before, Taurus, is how to operate, how to function, how to exist in the chaos, in the blurred lines and the messiness of things that are unfolding, not just on the wider stage, but also very close to home for you. And what you have to rely on from that perspective is what your truth is, so that you can seek happiness on your own terms, that you can seek acceptance in a way that you yourself know that you can live with, that you can seek inspiration to be driven towards creating change, to want more for yourself and for those that you love, for the collective. So the Ace of Swords is going to be a very clarifying energy for you, even though as you look around, things may not feel like they're moving in the right order. You yourself, from an energetic perspective, are going to feel more clear-minded and more motivated than you have for some time. We have a new moon coming in the sign of Pisces on the 2nd, conjunct with Jupiter. There's an amplification energy here of something that matters to you, something that's important. But you're also being invited to find a way to go with the flow. This deeper requirement to find a foundation for peace may have you overthinking. The Nine of Swords suggests that the anxiety and stress that's activated within you, surrounding you right now, if we're not careful, if it's not left managed, it can really grow wild in terms of how it starts to impact and really impede on our ability to believe that we can make meaningful change. What I want you to be aware of here is that all of these candles are lit. Again, the fire linking into that fire of the Ace of Swords. They haven't gone out here. So something that you were trying to achieve or that you were hoping for, it's not gone away. You know, there may be a requirement through March to come at it from a slightly different approach, okay? But you have this wolf energy here who looks deeply calm and is here in this state of protection, but also reminding you to really trust in your intuition, to trust in the process right now. What we have is actually very clear skies right now. You know, there's no confusion or haze here. You know, there's an understanding that there are some things right now where we have to call them out and say it is what it is. And the awareness helps you to become informed, and that in itself can actually start to build a deeper sense of empowerment. What we see for you this month, Taurus, is you creating space to expand. Expand your heart, expand your level of tolerance, expand things in your life that you know you now want to commit and invest more time and energy towards. Now on the 3rd of the month we have the final Venus-Pluto conjunction. The first two took place in December on the 11th and on the 25th. The Magician suggests here that there is something that now needs to change. There's an overhaul that's going to take place. And I think a final decision or commitment or conversation takes place in and around that 3rd that really allows you to feel into a sense of, now I know what to do. Now this is perfect timing coming in after that Nine of Swords, because it does suggest that you're not staying in that energy of stress or kind of feeling tethered to something where there's no way out for very long. The Magician wants you to keep experimenting and reminds you that you have everything that you need to forge a way forward here, and that may be coming around in terms of a specific relationship that's really gone through a powerful transformative phase, or perhaps something connected into your money story. But really it's deeply rooted in the ability to be truthful and honest with yourself, or to get clarification from someone or a situation outside of you that, it may not be the easiest thing to be able to digest or to process by way of that Nine of Swords, but you certainly are not going to take it lying down. There's like a fighting energy that comes back up, and you will be able to make the adjustments necessary within your environment and within your thoughts to be able to continue your progress. And I guess I want to say that to you. Like, I feel like your progress through the course of March isn't impacted in ways that you might start to feel into because of the nature of some of the things that might be unfolding. I think one of the really challenging things for Taurus right now is to sort of deal with that delicate balance of having things in your life that you know don't feel right, so it may be that it's the wrong person, it's the wrong job, it doesn't feel like the right time, or you're in the right place for something. And all of that energy feels perhaps in some ways resistant, or it's holding you back, and it's working against you. And so your job here is to really try to figure out what needs to be released so that you can create space for the right things. Your Seven of Pentacles has you deep in assessment energy, considering the harvest of what you've actually invested your time, energy, love, money into. But at the same time, there's also those instances where there are things that are worth fighting for. There are things that have yet to yield their true blossom, their true reward for us. And so it's a deeply personal conversation with yourself through the course of March, where you decide, is this it? Am I now wanting to call time and move away from this? Or am I prepared to continue and kind of hold out, because I know that there's something more in this for me. There's more growth to be experienced, and there's more results to be acknowledged. And that is, I think, going to be one of the things that dominates the headlines really for you in your experience through this month of March. Now, we have a full moon in a fellow earth sign of Virgo coming in on the 18th of the month at 27 degrees. Sun is sextile to Pluto, and so there is a very transformational energy here, and what we allow to release and to let go during that full moon does act as a bit of a catalyst for you to then really galvanize your energy and just feel like you've got a little bit more oxygen to breathe. It feels like you've now got the time and space to kind of put your best foot forward towards something that is meant for you, is right for you. So I see a whole coalescing of events building up to that full moon, where it's almost like, I know I'm going to make this decision, I know I'm going to do it, I know I have to do it, and then it comes around, and it's actually going to feel a little bit more gentle, I think, than perhaps what you might be anticipating as well. Sometimes that Nine of Swords is about that worst case scenario. A lot of the fears that we think are going to come to pass end up just being things that are swirling around in our mindset. And remember, your spiritual enlightenment is really a journey to remove the blocks of fear that are stopping you from remembering the trueness of actually who you are. So we have both Mars and Venus entering Aquarius, finally moving out of Capricorn on the 5th of the month. And whenever these planets shift and begin a new energy conversation, there's an adjustment that takes place. And you're going to be feeling into that. It's a very dynamic month in terms of what's happening astrologically. And I think that can be useful for you, because in some ways it feels disorientating, but then it allows you to just keep moving and keep active and to keep evaluating and to keep experimenting with, does this feel right? No, this isn't quite right. And I think that that's necessary when you're trying to get something off the ground, or you're trying to move something forward, particularly by way of some of the relationship exchanges that might have been going through a little bit of a tougher time of late. And so it's now a month where there's a lot more determination on everybody's side to want to kind of to move it in some direction or another. You may still find that you're at odds, or you're seeing black and they're seeing white, but at least everyone's an active participant in the process. That's the most important thing, because when you're in that stagnation or that period of disowning or dismissing, or people are incredibly shut down, then it doesn't help to facilitate where that inspiration can start to come through and just get the energy moving in ways that are going to be supportive. Sometimes you have to really forgive yourself, Taurus, for forgetting what you're fighting for, or what you wanted and why you wanted it, because it's really easy to get distracted by the narrative and the storyline, or what other people think, or what you think you're supposed to want. We can really get ourselves a little bit bound up and confused. Again, the Page of Swords is sort of cutting through and giving this clarification energy. And I think that there's news and information that you're ready to share. I feel like this is actually you wanting to reach out and perhaps put your side across, or maybe reposition something that you already did previously but perhaps wasn't taken in the right way or wasn't understood properly. So it's almost like a second chance to be able to position or to present something again. That's going to really work in your favour, I feel, because what you have coming at it this time, there's something that you're owning now, is what Spirit is saying to me. So what you've owned, perhaps a change that you've made in yourself, or even a change to something that you've explained, or that you said that you wanted, that makes all the difference. I see it now landing in a way where people can digest it or process it, or come to a place of acceptance with it. You need to be really seeking that balance for yourself. We're going to be, of course, welcoming equinox energy coming in on the 20th as the sun shifts into Aries. Mercury will also be conjunct with Jupiter, so there's a huge boost of energy here to help facilitate that adjustment in your world. Sometimes we have to seek balance just in the next small step. It can be much more challenging to try to seek balance in the bigger sweeping life changes that are going on. So if you can just find that in the state of presence by what's immediately in front of me, I think that's going to help to stop this slipping into inertia or feeling disenchanted by what's going on, because it's almost like it feels so difficult to kind of try to process or to try to turn the ship around in my life to be able to work alongside this energy, that I just want to give up, or I want to just let go. And I don't really see that that's what March is about for you. I actually see a very heroic, very determined, very single-minded intention from you, and that these active choices have to be made in the small, quiet moments with yourself. There may be an aspect of you that feels almost a little unsupported in some of the things that you're going through. And through the course of March, it'd be really easy to get a little bit resentful, or to feel the desire to want to project, because there's just a sense of deeper hurt that might be kind of surfacing as a result of that. But what we're looking at here with the energy of the Four of Cups is that there are things that are waiting in the wings. And it's not that they're being purposefully held back from you, Taurus. It feels like there is an understanding or something that has to slot into place. And I also want to say, I feel like someone else has to get to a certain point or get to a certain stage. When that occurs, then the door is open and it becomes unlocked. And it feels like there's a moment when that lands and you'll just know intuitively. So even if you haven't been given the evidence, or there isn't something that shows up that says, okay, now is the right time to approach this person, or to get going, or to initiate something, or to feel like you can ask for help, you're just going to feel that deep in your bones. But be aware that might be coming in and around that equinox energy, as there's a release and a rebalancing on a wider scale that can help to facilitate a shift and a change, not just in your mindset, but just to kind of get everything moving. This is what it feels is sort of happening. So we're working with 11th and 12th house energy through the course of March. So of course there's going to be a deep desire on your part to want to start to readdress the ways in which you are utilising your network, utilising technology to help advance you and move you towards some of the aspirations and the dreams that you have. The Six of Cups is showing me that there's a requirement to look back so that we can move forward. And it may be that you reconnect with people in your network, or you draw people back close to you again that, you know, have perhaps been on the periphery, or you've not had the opportunity to really connect to and to discuss and share what's been going on with you. I feel like with that Ace of Swords, there's a desire on your part in March to actually be more open and honest about what you've gone through. And perhaps there's going to be some people that actually had no idea, in all honesty. There's this really sweet reunion energy that I feel coming through with that energy of the Six of Cups. And for some of you, I think you'd perhaps even thought it wasn't going to be possible, or, you know, the divide or the distance had become too great. But March is one of these months where I think it's going to keep surprising you. There is a triggering quality to that, because bringing something back in, or reuniting, or having a reunion to an energy or an experience that you'd maybe come to some place of acceptance or release over, can also open up a whole series of emotions again for you. And I think that there's something to be aware of through this month of March about recognizing how much you've changed. And so even though you may be triggered by things that happened in the past, you got to be really careful that you don't pick up the same old energy conversation. That's going to be a little bit of a test and a challenge for you. How can I demonstrate to myself and to this person that I have really moved past this, I have moved beyond this, and being able to show deeper levels of compassion, tolerance, forgiveness for yourself is really going to help the growth in this energy. Because honestly, I feel like you do want this union, you do want this conversation, you do want this reconnection. And even if this is somebody who hasn't gone anywhere, it might just be that there is an improvement, or almost like a regrouping and coming back together on better energetic terms. So you might be also experiencing that coming through as well. Aries energy, of course, is that 12th house of deeper healing and release energy for you. And a lot comes up from the subconscious. You've been on a really powerful rite of passage. And in the Six of Swords energy here, you know, she's holding this treasure box. Her eyes are closed, and it's almost like she's offering this up as a gift. Like, this is what I've been through. This is what I've come to learn about myself. And I think that there's a desire for you to want to not only keep moving forward, but also to share that experience as well. As we look at the Page of Swords just above this, I think the communication, the correspondence that's needed, and, you know, even if this is also for some of you coming through in a way of just finding a really cathartic outlet by journaling, or by writing a blog, or by sharing, you know, with people that maybe even you don't know so well. I think that there's something deeply valuable that people are going to gain from what you've been through and your experience that you need to find an outlet for, is what I want to say. There's an aspect of travel coming in here with the energy of the Fool and the Six of Swords. Now, even if that isn't happening on a physical level for you, really be under no illusion that how much ground you managed to gain through the course of March in terms of catching up with things that have felt slow to move, or even just a tremendous amount of like up-leveling and growth with a specific area of your life is also being highlighted very, very powerfully. That also means that you're going to be put out of your comfort zone a little bit, and perhaps asked to be part of something, to participate in something that doesn't feel that you really know fully what you're doing, or you know exactly what's expected of you. So I have a little bit of uncertainty that comes in and around that, but Spirit are giving me an awful lot of reassurance and saying that this is necessary to kind of challenge you and to stretch you in the right way, but also to put you directly in contact with new ideas, new people perhaps, and new opportunities to kind of really acknowledge within yourself and give yourself credit for how far you've come in relation to something, okay? So there is going to be a sense of you feeling very proud of yourself as a result of this. And I also want to say recognition that will come directly from that. That can lead to between 2 and 4 times something. I don't know, 2 to 4 times something. So maybe you'll do something another 2 to 4 times, or 2 to 4 times more makes its way towards you in relation to something. So keep an eye out for that. Okay, so let's just take a look and see how these oracle cards want to reflect the conversation. And just a quick heads up, Taurus, I've actually got my own oracle deck coming out, and I'm going to be taking pre-orders for that in March during equinox time. That will be coming out. So if you want to check out the details and see a preview, please do check out the link in the description, the comment section underneath. I'm really excited to show you that and start working with the deck later this spring. Okay, so let's have a look here. Right, we have the energy of a tidy house, clarity and organisation. This also came through for Aries as well. But what we're really wanting you to align to here is that the tidy house for me really represent what's going on in your mind. You know, what we have to do is clear out what that 9 of Swords is trying to stir up within you. And it's the absorption of so much outside fear energy that we can end up taking on and really not truly understand, is not reflective of what our own energy field is saying. So finding the clarification of what is true for you, making sure that you are working with energetic hygiene and really clearing out your energy field on a day-to-day basis is going to help to put things in the right order, and just to help give you a sense of clearance, so that what you are saying and what you feel compelled to want to communicate comes from a place directly connected to your spiritual heart and your spiritual truth, okay? But there's also something about that sense of safety and refuge that I feel coming in with the house, that's wrapped around this beautiful strength of the tree here. The roots are exposed, so there's something about like deep stability as well, being available to you as you work much more diligently to focus upon the things that matter to you, and prioritizing your energy not towards the fear but towards the expansion, the room to grow, the awareness and the empowerment that's available to you. Let's have a look at the astrology cards for you, Taurus. Okay, so you have Neptune and Vision. Alright, so of course Pisces ruled by Neptune, and we have this new moon energy coming in March, with the stellium of Piscean energy. And Jupiter in Pisces right now, you know, really helping to amplify our ability to connect into a deeper spiritual vision. We have to be very careful with Neptune that we don't move overly towards the illusions and the fantasy of things, and that's what can really trip us up if we're not careful. But you have so much clarification coming in, and those swords that are really cutting through a lot of that I don't think it's something that you need to be concerning yourself with. Far richer energy is working with Neptune to help you to foster your dreams in a new way, to start to think more creatively and outside the box. How am I going to do this? How can I make this work? These are questions that I feel you're going to be really asking yourself in the month of March, and you're going to receive the answers, but you have to be open to them. You know, allow yourself to just sit in the questions through this month and let this non-linear energy of March really show you how fast you can gain ground in some of these areas. You also have to be ready to make the active choice when it comes around and intuitively your body tells you it's time for that inspired action. Okay, so this is a general reading for March, Taurus. I'm just going to invite you to think about a personal question that you might not have had answered through the main spread. Okay, we're going to pull a couple of cards for you here specifically for that. And we'll cover that off during the extended reading. So you can find the link for that in the description, the comment section underneath. It's a way to support my channel and also just to get deeper insight into the month ahead. So I'm just going to clarify this main general reading, beginning with the Ace of Swords. So we have the energy of the Seven of Wands coming in. And the World. Now all the decks I use are also in the description box underneath as well, if that's of interest for you. So Nine of Swords comes in with the Four of Swords. And another Six of Swords. Interesting. We have the Knight of Cups, water sign, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, coming through with that Magician. Also just that real vision quest energy showing up. Eight of Pentacles, really like that for you. Three of Cups. Okay, so the Fool, the Four of Wands, the Devil and the Ten of Swords. Beautiful restorative healing energies there with the Ace of Cups and Star coming in. A lot of sevens showing up in your reading this month, Taurus. Three of Pentacles. Indicative of important choices to be made, but also the ways in which you're now aligning much more spiritually with your path. You're not being distracted in ways that you have been previously. I love all these aces coming through for you as well. Okay. Right, I'm going to leave it there, Taurus. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're joining me for the extended, I look forward to continuing this conversation with you. And have a beautiful, blessed month of March. You take care.